All right. Okay. Good. This thing is on. What's up, everybody? This is, as some people like to call me, Harold. We got the company at Warriors Way. Look at that foot in the camera. Who is that? Jackson. Hello. Stop. Okay. But as y'all know, today was National Sickle Cell World Day, and that's kind of our theme for Warriors Way. We're trying to help people who have sickle cell or family members and kids and infants and things like that who are affected by sickle cell. And today was pretty much like sickle cell's national holiday. So if you didn't know what sickle cell is, I have a professional here. Somebody that has sickle cell can tell you a lot more about it than pretty much we will ever know, or even doctors and physicians. Sickle cell is one of those things that the people that have it, they go through every day in pain, but you'll never know because it's one of those things you can't see it on the outside, so you really won't know unless you actually experience it. But today, we did a workout. We actually did a really high intensity workout, something similar to CrossFit. And the person that did it with me is right here, and I'm gonna let her tell y'all how it went and a lot more about sickle cell.
The workout was brutal. Okay. Okay, just kidding. But I did make it. But so back about sickle cell. Pretty much sickle cell is a genetic disorder. Let me make that clear. Genetic, because people get confused and think that it's contagious, which is not true. You get both. You get this disorder from your parents when both of your parents carry the trait. So let's knock that out real quick, because I've had several encounters where people tell me or ask me, is that contagious? And I look at them like, so no, it is not contagious. So I kind of wanted to come on here and pretty much just tell my story for World Sickle Cell Day. I was truly diagnosed with sickle cell when I was 2 years old. And the way my parents found out is because I ended up having what they call acute chest syndrome, which is very common in sickle cell patients, especially young sickle cell patients. So I think because I guess my parents thought I was having trouble with my breathing. And then when they took me to the hospital, they tell me I had acute chest syndrome, which is also very similar to pneumonia. Okay. So we found out then, because we are from a small country town here in Texas, and one of the doctors pretty much misdiagnosed me. And so then we ended up going to a different physician in a different city, and they was like, yes, most definitely she has sickle cell. So like I said, every patient is different. Everybody has different symptoms, but my symptoms is, like I said from my last video, I get very jaundice in my eyes and my hands and my feet, which means yellowing of the skin, or the sclera, which is the white part of your eye. And that pretty much tells me or gives me a hint of how hydrated I am. So especially with working out, I have to keep myself more hydrated than usual. And it's already hard for me to drink water as is. I'll admit to it. But when I work out, I really have to drink a lot more. And don't get me wrong, don't think I'm pitch perfect, because I'm not. I still have pains. I still hurt. I have the heating pad on my back right now. So back to my story. So like I said, my parents found out that I had sickle cell when I was 2. And since then, I've also been diagnosed with asthma. So not a good combination, because both of those conditions deprive your body of oxygen. So that's not fun for anyone. And then like I said, I was hospitalized a lot as a child, has had my fair share and plenty of blood transfusions. I actually used to collect my hospital bands in a little, actually not a little, in a big Ziploc bag. And my mom told me to throw it away because she said, you don't need that negativity. But I just wanted to show people that, just because, well, let me just say this. A lot of people wouldn't think I have sickle cell because they said I'm very bubbly, I'm very outgoing, and I'm just very lively. So you would never really notice that I'm sick. And that's the thing about sickle cell, and a lot of people don't understand. Sickle cell is really a hidden disease. Like, it's not like cancer where you can tell when people are getting treatment and things like that. Like, this is a hidden condition that people suffer on the inside and not really mostly on the outside unless they're having what we call a sickle cell crisis. A sickle cell crisis is when because a sickler, which is what we call ourselves, sicklers, red blood cells are moon shaped because they're not getting oxygen. So sometimes they block the vessels. So it causes a lot of pain, like excruciating pain. Like, the only way I can describe this pain is feeling like someone is stabbing you in your joint 90 to nothing. And what really makes me mad and what I really am trying to do is because I am a nurse and I plan on being a sickle cell advocate for my fellow sicklers. And I want to try to go to the hospitals and advocate for them because a lot of people automatically assume that we're addicted to drugs. And that's not true. We really are in pain, but nobody knows because they don't experience it. They just automatically assume that. And that actually really makes me upset because we don't get the proper care when we go to the emergency room. So sometimes we have to suffer pretty much in silence. So that sucks. But anyways, back to my story. When I was in my freshman year in high school, probably around towards the end of the year, I guess you can say, I started having like a little mild pain in my right hip. But it was like, it would go away, come and go. It was like intermittent, and it will go away with like ibuprofen or my pain medicine because I thought I was just having a sickle cell crisis. And then, of course, using my heating pad. But then, like, beginning of my sophomore year, it just got worse and worse and worse. So we ended up going to the doctor, several doctors, and got several opinions. And what I was diagnosed with is avascular necrosis. So avascular necrosis is pretty much the deteriorating of a joint, which causes you pain because it's pretty much grinding against your other bone. Like, there's no cartilage there anymore. And so my joint was deteriorating. And so I went through about a year of torture. And I literally say that as torture because I was on crutches for like 6 months. I was in a wheelchair for like 2 or 3 months. And then back on crutches. And then they wanted to do like a experimental procedure to check my range of motion. So they put me to sleep and they checked my range of motion. They said it was good, but it was causing me excruciating pain. So they gave my parents 2 choices because, of course, I'm 15 at this time. Like, I can't even make my own medical choices. My 2 choices was either a hip fusion or hip replacement. And my doctor, who was Dr. Schuster, he was awesome, by the way. Those were the 2 choices we had, but he told us if we got the hip fusion, I will have a permanent limp. So we decided to go with the hip replacement. So I had a total right hip arthroplasty, aka replacement. I can't remember what month it was, but I was 15 years old. And so I had to be homeschooled the rest of that year because they were scared that, you know how high school kids get. So they didn't want my joint to be displaced. So I had to pretty much be homeschooled like those next 3 months. And then, of course, it was the summertime. So I was doing therapy to try to get back to strengthening my hip. And then I was able to go back to school, which was funny because everybody was so surprised to see me actually walking because it was a whole year they saw me on some type of adaptive equipment. So that was fun. And then my senior year, this is now when I'm 17. I'm not even going to try to say the word because it's so long and hard to pronounce. But pretty much I had gallbladder issues. So I ended up having to have emergency surgery because my gallbladder was the size of an orange. And they were saying that my sickle cell was causing me to build up a certain acid. And they were making me have gallstones. And the reason why I found out is because one night I ate something, I guess, heavy or greasy, and I was in excruciating pain, like I was shaking. And so my mom took me to emergency room, and they were like, yeah, this has to come out like now, because if it doesn't, it's gonna, explode, and that won't be good for anybody. So I ended up having to have surgery on that, and that was in 2009, because that was like maybe a week after I graduated high school. So I've been through my trials and tribulations, and I still deal with it today. As a matter of fact, I feel like my sickle cell is actually getting worse than when I was a kid, because I feel like I didn't have as many times I've been hospitalized, I haven't felt so weak and in pain like I do now. Like I had pain, but now I have pain. And I normally get my sickle cell crisis in my shoulders and my ankles, which is terrible, by the way. I actually ended up having a sickle cell crisis in my ankle when I was in nursing school, and my instructor wouldn't even let me skip because I had to do if I did, I'll have to do like this crazy assignment. So I just pushed through. And the thing that sucks about being a nurse is it's very hard to keep yourself hydrated and eating the right food, because you never know your schedule really, because you have patients to take care of, and it's very unpredictable. So that's about that. I'm trying to see what else can I tell you guys. But yeah, I still have my pains, like I said. And sometimes with my hip, it acts up a little bit. Normally it depends on the weather. So, and now since I don't have a gallbladder, I can't really eat a lot of food that's fat, because it actually makes my stomach hurt. So I try to stay away from fatty foods, try to keep myself hydrated. But my family are super supportive. My boyfriend is super supportive, who you just met or saw a few minutes ago. Everybody is very patient with me, because you just never know how a sickler is going to feel, because like I said, this illness is so unpredictable. It's not like cancer, and we need to put more awareness out there, because a lot of people assume we look okay on the outside, but on the inside we really are struggling. Like we need care and a cure and help. And I know there's some cures out there now, and I'll make a whole nother video on that later. But I just kind of wanted to tell my little story for World Sickle Cell Day. So yeah, I am the only one in my family as of right now that I know of, that has full-blown sickle cell anemia SS, hemoglobin SS, which is the worst one, by the way. My uncle, who also has sickle cell, my Uncle Tracy, he passed away, I believe, I want to say in 2009 from sickle cell complications. And sickle cell has come such a long way, but we still have a very long way to go. Sickle cell is something. It really is. And I hate to see my fellow sicklers suffering, and because it really is hard, and it does take a toll on you. Because just imagine just sitting, relaxing, and all of a sudden you have pain. Or you're out and about and you have pain. Or you're sitting in school, you're sitting in church, and you just have pain, like you're constantly having to live with this pain. It's rough. And it can get depressing because you're constantly in pain and nobody wants to live like that. But, you know, we got to keep pushing, keep fighting. And we're starting a nonprofit organization, so we have a lot of stuff planned. So please go to our GoFundMe page and donate what you can. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just donate what you can because we want to really get out there and help people. And I want to become a sickle cell advocate or ambassador, whatever you want to call it. I have a lot of knowledge because not only I have the disease, so I can actually talk about it and tell people about my experiences, but I'm also a nurse, so I kind of know the background and how things work and things like that. So that's pretty much it. This is for World Sickle Cell Day. Today is June 19th, 2019. Please like, share, and comment on our video. Until next time, peace.